Iyov, the book of Job. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Iyov, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Elohim, and eschewed evil. And there was born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Iyov sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Iyov said, It might be that my sons have sinned, and cursed Elohim in their hearts. Thus did Iyov continually. Now there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuah, and Hasatan also came among them. And Yahuah said to Hasatan, From whence come you? And Hasatan answered Yahuah and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahuah said unto Hasatan, Have you considered my servant Iyov, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that fears Elohim and eschews evil? Then Hasatan answered Yahuah and said, Does Iyov fear Elohim for naught? Have not you made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he has on every side? You have favored the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth your hand now, and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face. And Yahuah said unto Hasatan, Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only upon himself put not forth your hand. So Hasatan went forth from the presence of Yahuah, and there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Iyov, and said, The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys feeding beside them, and the Shevaim fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell you. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The fire of Elohim is fallen from heaven, and has burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I only am escaped alone to tell you. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The Casdim made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell you. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, Your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I am only escaped alone to tell you. Then Iyov rose, and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return to thee. Yahuah gave, and Yahuah has taken away. Exalted be the name of Yahuah. In all this Iyov sinned not, nor charged Elohim foolishly. Again, there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuah, and Hasatan came also among them to present himself before Yahuah. And Yahuah said unto Satan, From whence come you? And Hasatan answered Yahuah, and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahuah said unto Hasatan, Have you considered my servant Iyov, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that fears Elohim and eschews evil? And still he holds fast his integrity, although you move me against him to destroy him without cause. And Hasatan answered Yahuah, and said, Skin for skin, yeah, all that a man has will he give for his life. But put forth your hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face. And Yahuah said unto Hasatan, Behold, he is in your hand, but save his life. So went Hasatan forth from the presence of Yahuah, and smote Iyov with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him,
Do you still retain your integrity? Curse Elohim and die.
But he said unto her, You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Elohim, and shall we not receive evil? In all this, Iyov did not sin with his lips. Now, when Iyov's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, they came everyone from his own place, Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Sophar the Nahamatite. But they had made an appointment together to come mourn with him and to comfort him. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off, and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept, and they rent everyone his mantle, and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward the heavens. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spoke a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. After this, Iyov opened his mouth and cursed his day. And Iyov spoke and said, Let the day perish on which I was born. In the night it was said, A male child has been conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not the Lord regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut up not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from my eyes. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up my ruach when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept. Then had I been at rest. With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it comes not, and dig for it more than for hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, in whom a lower has hedged in? For my sighing comes before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come on to me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If one tries a word with you, would you become impatient? But who is able to withhold himself from speaking? See, you have instructed many, and you have made weak hands strong. Your words have raised up him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the weak knees. But now it has come to you, and you are impatient. It strikes you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence your trust, the integrity of your ways your expectancy? Remember, please, who being innocent has ever perished? And where has the straight ones ever been cut off? according to what I have seen. Those who plow wickedness and sow suffering reap the same. Through the breath of the Lord they perish, and through the wind of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion, and the voice of the fierce lion, but the teeth of the young lion shall be broken. An old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. And unto me a word was secretly brought, and my ear received a little of it. In thoughts from the visions of the nights, when deep sleep falls on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then the Ruach passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before my eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice, saying,
Shall mortal men be more just than the Lord? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Does not their excellency which is in them go away? They die, even without wisdom.
Call now, if there be any that will answer you, and to the which of the Kodoshin will you turn? For wrath kills the foolish man, and envy slays the silly one. I myself have seen the fool taking root, but suddenly his home was cursed. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eats up, and takes it even out of the thorns, and the robber swallows up their substance. Although affliction comes not forth of the dust, neither does trouble spring out of the ground. Yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I will seek unto Elohim, and unto Elohim will I commit my cause, which does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who gives rain upon the earth, and sends waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappoints the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He takes the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saves the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor has hope, and iniquity stops her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom Eloah corrects. Therefore despise not you the chastening of El Shaddai, for he makes sore, and binds up. He wounds, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver you in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch you. In famine he shall redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shall you be afraid of destruction when it comes. At destruction and famine you shall laugh. Neither shall you be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For you shall be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. And you shall know that your tabernacle shall be in peace, and you shall visit your habitation, and shall not sin. You shall know also that your seed shall be great, and your offspring as the grass of the earth. You shall come to your grave in full age, like the stacking of grain in its season. Look, this we have searched out. It is so. Hear it, and know for yourself. But Iyov answered and said, "Oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed, and my calamity laid in balances together. For now it will be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of El Shaddai are within me. The poison whereof drinks up my ruach. The terrors of Eloah do set themselves in array against me. Does the wild donkey bray sound when he has grass? Or lolls the ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? The things that my soul refused to touch are as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my request, and that the Lord would grant me the thing that I long for. Even that it would please the Lord to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then I would still have comfort, and I would rejoice in pain, though not spared, for I have not hidden the words of the Kadesh one. What strength do I have, that I should wait? And what is my end, that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones? Is my flesh of bronze? Is my help not within me? And is wisdom driven quite from me? To him that is afflicted, pity shall be showed from his friend. But he forsakes the fear of El Shaddai. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away, which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. What time they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The paths of their way are turned aside. They go to nothing and perish. The troops of Tamar looked. The companies of Sheba waited for them. They were confounded because they had hoped. They came thither and were ashamed. For now ye are nothing. Ye see my casting down and are afraid. Did I say, bring unto me, or give a reward for me of your substance? Or deliver me from the enemy's hand? Or redeem me from the hand of the mighty? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and show me where I have gone astray. Words of uprightness are harsh, but what does your reproving reprove? Do you reckon to reprove my words, and the sayings of one in despair, which are as wind? You will cast lots over the fatherless, and make merchandise of your friend. But now, please look at me, whether I will lie to your face. Relent, please. Let there be no unrighteousness. Relent. My righteousness is still in it. Is there unrighteousness on my tongue? Does my taste not discern what is perverse? Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? Are not his days also like the days of a hireling? As a servant earnestly desires the shadow, and as a hireling looks for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise, and the night be gone? And I am full of tossings to and fro, unto the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms, and clouds of dust. My skin is broken, and become loathsome. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is wind. My eyes shall no more see good. The eye of him that has seen me shall see me no more. Your eyes are upon me, and I am not. As the cloud is consumed and vanishes away, so he that goes down to Sheol shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my ruach. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a dragon, that you set a watch over me? When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then you scare me with dreams and terrify me through visions, so that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my life. I loathe it. I will not live always. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. What is man, that you should magnify him, and that you should set your heart upon him, and that you should visit him every morning, and try him every moment? How long will you not depart from me, nor let me alone till I swallow down my spittle? I have sinned. What shall I do unto you, O preserver of men? Why have you set me as a mark against you, so that I am burdened to myself? And why do you not pardon my transgression, and take away my iniquity? For now shall I sleep in the dust, and you shall seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, and said, How long will you speak these things? And how long shall the words of your mouth be like a strong wind? Does El pervert judgment? Or does El Shaddai pervert justice? If your children have sinned against him, and he hath cast them away for their transgression, if you would seek unto El early, and make your supplication to El Shaddai, if you were pure and upright, surely now he would awake for you, and make the habitation of your righteousness prosperous. Though your beginning was small, yet your latter end should greatly increase. Indeed, please ask the former generation, and prepare for the research of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and know not, because our days on earth are as a shadow. Do they not teach you, speak to you, and bring forth words from their heart? Does papyrus grow without a marsh, and reed thrive without water? While it is yet green, not cut down, it dries out before any plant. So are the paths of all who forget El, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish. Whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. He is green before the sun, and his branch shoots forth in his garden. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seize the place of stones. If he destroy him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen you. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, El will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill your mouth with laughing, and your lips with rejoicing. They that hate you shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. Then Iyov answered and said, I know it is so of a truth, but how should man be just with El? If he will contend with him, he cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who has hardened himself against him and has prospered, which removes the mountains, and they know not, which overturns them in his anger, which shakes the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble, which commands the sun, and it rises not, and seals up the stars, which alone spreads out the heavens, and treads upon the waves of the sea, which makes Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, in the chambers of the south, which does great things past finding out, yea, and wonders without number. Lo, he goes by me, and I see him not. He passes on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he takes away. Who can hinder him? Who will say unto him, What do you? If the Lord will not withdraw his anger, the proud helpers do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, and choose out my words to reason with him? Whom, though I were righteous, yet would I not answer, but I will make supplication to my judge. If I had called, and he had answered me, yet would I not believe that he had hearkened unto my voice. For he breaks me with a tempest, and multiplies my wounds without cause. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but fills me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong, and if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? If I justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. If I say, I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. This is one thing, therefore I said it. He destroys the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? My days have become swifter than a runner. They have fled, they have not seen good. They have passed by like swift ships, like an eagle swooping on his prey. If I say, let me forget my complaints, let me put off my sad face, and let me smile, I shall be afraid of all my sufferings. I know that you do not hold me innocent. If I am wicked, why should I labor in vain? If I wash myself with snow water and cleanse my hands with soap, then you will plunge me into a ditch, and my garment shall abhor me. But not a man, I should not answer him. When we come together into right ruling, there is no mediator between us to lay his hand upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let his dread frighten me. I will speak and not fear him, for I am not so within myself. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto Eloah, do not condemn me. Show me wherefore you contend with me. Is it good unto you that you should oppress, that you should despise the work of your hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Have you eyes of flesh? Do you see as man sees? Are your days as the days of man? Are your years as man's days, that you inquire after my iniquity and search after my sin? You know that I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of your hand. Your hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet you do destroy me. Remember, I beseech you that you have made me as the clay, and will you bring me into the dust again? Have you not poured me out as milk and curdled me like cheese? You have clothed me with skin and flesh, and have fenced me with bones and sinews. And you have granted me life and favor, and your visitation did guard my ruach. And these things have you hid in your heart. I know that this is with you. If I sin, then you mark me, and you will not acquit me from my iniquity. If I be wicked, woe unto me, and if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion. Therefore see you my affliction, for it increases. You hunt me as a fierce lion, and again you show yourself marvelous upon me. You renew your witnesses against me, and increase your indignation upon me. Changes and war are against me. Wherefore then have you brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I had given up my ruach, and no eye had seen me. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. A land of darkness is darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. Then answered Sophar, the Naamathite, and said, should not the multitude of words be answered? And should a man full of talk be justified? Should your lies make men hold their peace? And when you mock, shall no man make you ashamed? For you have said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in your eyes. But oh, that Eloah would speak, and open his lips against you, and show you the secrets of wisdom, doubling your ability. Know then that Eloah forgets your wickedness for you. Would you find out Eloah by searching, or search out the end of El Shaddai? It is as high as the Shamayim. What can you do? Deeper than Sheol. What can you know? The measure thereof is longer than the earth, and broader than the sea. If he cut off, and shut up, or gather together, then who can hinder him? For he knows vain men. He sees wickedness also. Will he not then consider it? For vain man will be wise, though man be born like a wild donkey's colt. If you prepare your heart, and stretch out your hands toward him, if iniquity be in your hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in your tabernacles. For then shall you lift up your face without spot, yeah, You shall be steadfast and shall not fear, because you shall forget your misery, and remember it as waters that pass away. And your age shall be clearer than the noonday. You shall shine forth. You shall be as the morning, and you shall be secure, because there is hope. Yeah, you shall dig about you, and you shall take your rest in safety. Also, you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. Yeah, many shall make suit unto you, but the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the Ruach. And Iyov answered and said,
No doubt but ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you. But if I have understanding as well as you, I am not inferior to you. Yet, who knows not such things as these? I am as one mocked of his neighbor, who calls upon a lower, and he answers him. The just upright man is laughed to scorn. He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp despised in the thought of him that is at ease. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke ill are secure, into whose hand the lower brings abundantly. But as now the beasts, and they shall teach you, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell you, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach you, and the fish of the sea shall declare unto you. Who knows not in all these that the hand of Yahuah has wrought this, and whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind? Does not the ear try words, and the mouth taste his meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and in length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength. He has counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaks down, and it cannot be built again. He shuts up a man, and there can be no opening. Behold, he withholds the waters, and they dry up. Also he sends them out, and they overturn the earth. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leads counselors away spoiled, and makes the judges fools. He looses the bond of kings, and girds their loins with a belt. He leads princes away spoiled, and overthrows the mighty. He removes away the speech of the trusty, and takes away the understanding of the aged. He pours contempt upon princes, and weakens the strength of the mighty. He discovers deep things out of darkness, and brings out to light the shadow of death. He increases the nations, and destroys them. He enlarges the nations, and straightens them again. He takes away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth, and causes them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he makes them to stagger like a drunken man. Lo, my eye has seen all this, my ear has heard and understood it. What would you know? The same do I know also. I am not inferior unto you. Surely I will speak to El Shaddai, and I desire to reason with El. But you are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value. Oh, that you will altogether hold your peace, and it should be your wisdom. Hear now my reasoning, and hearken to the pleadings of my lips. Will you speak wickedly for El, and talk deceitfully for him? Will you accept his person? Will you contend for El? Is it good that he should search you out, or as one mocks another, do you mock so him? He will surely reprove you, if you do secretly accept persons. Shall not his excellency make you afraid, and his dread fall upon you? Your weighty sayings are proverbs of ashes. Your shields are shields of clay. Be silent before me, and let me speak, and let whatever come upon me. Wherefore do I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in my hand? Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him, but I will maintain my own ways before him. He also shall be my salvation, for a hypocrite shall not come before him. Hear diligently my speech, and my declaration with your ears. Behold now, I have ordered my cause. I know that I shall be justified. Who is he that will plead with me? For now, if I hold my tongue, I shall give up the Ruach. Only do not two things unto me, then will I not hide myself from you. Withdraw your hand far from me, and let not your dread make me afraid. Then call, and let me answer, or let me speak,
And you reply to me, how many are my iniquities and sins? Make me to know my transgression and my sin. Wherefore hide you your face, and hold me for your enemy? Will you break a leaf driven to and fro? And will you pursue the dry stubble? For you write bitter things against me, and make me to possess the iniquities of my youth. You put my feet also in the stocks, and look narrowly onto all my paths. You set a print upon the heels of my feet, and he, as a rotting thing, consumes, as a garment that is moth-eaten. Man that is born of a woman is of few days, and full of trouble. He comes forth like a flower, and is cut down. He flees also as a shadow, and continues not. And do you open your eyes upon such one, and bring me into judgment with you? Who can bring a clean thing out of the unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with you. You have appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Turn from him, that he may rest, till he shall accomplish as a hireling his day. For there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease, though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground. Yet though the scent of water it will bud, and bring forth boughs like a plant. But man dies, and wastes away. Yeah, man gives up his ruach. And where is he? As the waters fell from the sea, and the flood decays and dries up, so man lies down and rises not. Till the heavens be no more, they shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. Oh, that you would hide me in Sheol, that you would keep me secret until your wrath be past, that you would appoint me a set time and remember me. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait, till my change come. You shall call, and I will answer you. You will have a desire to the work of your hands. For now you number my steps. Do you not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you sew up my iniquity. And surely the mountain fall and comes to naught, and the rock is removed out of his place. The waters wear the stones. You wash away the things which grow out of the dust of the earth, and you destroy the hope of man. You prevail forever against him, and he passes. You change his countenance, and send him away. His sons come to honor, and he knows it not, and they are brought low, but he perceives it not of them. But his flesh upon him shall have pain, and his soul within him shall mourn. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite, and said, should a wise man utter vain knowledge, and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches whereof he can do no good? Yet you cast off fear, and restrain prayer before El, for your mouth utters your iniquity, and you choose the tongue of the crafty. Your own mouth condemns you, and not I. Yea, your own lips testify against you. Are you the first man that was born, or were you made before the hills? Have you heard the secret of Eloah, and do you restrain wisdom to yourself? What know you that we know not? What understand you, which is not in us? With us are both the gray-headed and very aged men, much elder than your father. Are the constellations of El small with you? Is there any secret thing with you? Why does your heart carry you away? And what do your eyes wink at, that you turn your ruach against El, and let such words go out of your mouth? What is man, that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman, that he should be righteous? Behold, he puts no trust in his kodoshim, yea, the shamayim are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is man, which drinks iniquity like water? I will show you, hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare. Which wise men have told from their fathers, and have not hid it? Unto whom alone the earth was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked man travails with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. A dreadful sound is in his ears. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believes not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. He wanders abroad for bread, saying,
Where is it?
He knows that the day of darkness is ready at his hand. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid. They shall prevail against him, as a king ready to the battle. For he stretches out his hand against El, and strengthens himself against El Shaddai. He runs against him defiantly, with thick bossed shields. For he has covered his face with his fatness, and he has put layers of fat on his loins. And he dwells in desolate cities, and in houses which no man inhabits, which are ready to become heaps. He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green. He shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive. For the assembly of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mischief, and bring forth vanity, and the belly prepares deceit. Then Iyov answered and said, I have heard many such things. Miserable comforters are you all. Shall vain words have an end? Or what emboldens you that you answer? I might also speak like you. If you were in my place, I might heap up words against you and shake my head at you. I might strengthen you with my mouth, and my moving lips might bring relief. If I speak, my pain is not relieved, and if I refrain, does it leave me? But now has he made me weary. You have made desolate all my company. You have filled me with wrinkles, which is a witness against me, and my leanness rising up in me bears witness to my face. He tears me in his wrath. Who hates me? He gnashes upon me with his teeth. My enemy sharpens his eyes upon me. They have gaped upon me with their mouth. They have smitten me upon the cheek reproachfully. They have gathered themselves together against me. El has delivered me to the perverse, and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, but he has broken me asunder. He has also taken me by my neck, and shaken me to pieces, and set me up for his mark. His archers compass me round about. He cleaves my mind asunder, and does not spare. He pours out my gall upon the ground. He breaks me with breach upon breach. He runs upon me like a giant. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin, and defiled my horn in the dust. My face is foul with weeping, and on my eyelids is the shadow of death. Not for any injustice in my hands, also my prayer is pure. O earth, cover not my blood, and let my cry have no place. Also now, behold, my witness is in heaven, and my record is on high. My friends scorn me, but my eye pours out tears onto a lower. Oh, that one might plead for a man with a lower, as a man pleads for his neighbor. When a few years are come, then I shall go the way whence I shall not return. My spirit has been broken. My days have been extinguished. Graves are from me. Truly, mockeries are with me, and my eyes rest on their insults. Lay down now. Put me in a surety with you. Who is he that will strike hands with me? For you have hid their heart from understanding. Therefore shall you not exalt them. He that speaks flattery to his friends, even the eyes of his children shall fail. He has made me also a byword of the people. In the foretime I was as a drum. My eye also is dim by reason of sorrow, and all my members are as a shadow. Upright men shall be astonished at this, and the innocent shall stir up himself against the hypocrite. The righteous also shall hold on his way, and he that has clean hands shall be stronger and stronger. But as for you all, do you return, and come now. For I cannot find one wise man among you. My days are past, my purposes are broken off, even the thoughts of my heart. They change the night into day. The light is short because of darkness. If I wait, Sheol is my house. I have made my bed in the darkness. I have said to corruption, you are my father. To the worm, you are my mother and my sister. And where is now my hope? As for my hope, who shall see it? They shall go down to the bars of the pit, when our rest together is in the dust. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said, when do you put an end to words? Understand, and let us then talk. Why should we be reckoning this beast as stupid in your eyes? He tears himself in his anger. Shall the earth be forsaken for you? And shall the rock be removed out of his place? Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. But he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walks upon a snare. The net seizes his heel, a snare prevails over him. A noose is hidden on the ground for him, and a trap for him in the path. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be starved, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. It shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. His root shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from light into darkness, and chased out of the world. He shall not have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, and they that went before were frightened. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knows not El. Then Iyov answered and said, how long will you vex my soul, and break me in pieces with words? These 10 times have you reproached me. Ye are not ashamed that you make yourself strange to me. And be it indeed that I have ear, my ever remains with myself. If indeed you will magnify yourselves against me, and plead against me my reproach, know now that a lower has overthrown me, and has compassed me with his nets. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. He has fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness in my paths. He has stripped me of my glory, and taken the crown from my head. He has destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and my hope has he removed like a tree. He has also kindled his wrath against me, and he counts me unto him as one of his enemies. His troops come together, and raise up their way against me, and encamp round about my tabernacle. He has put my brethren far from me, and my acquaintances are truly estranged from me. My kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me. They that dwell in my house, and my maids, count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I called my servant, and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath is strange to my woman, though I entreated for the children's sake of my own body. Yeah, young children despise me. I arose, and they spoke against me. All my inward friends abhorred me, and they whom I loved are turned against me. My bone cleaves to my skin and to my flesh. I am escaped with the skin of my teeth. Have pity upon me. Have pity upon me, all ye my friends, for the hand of a lower has touched me. Why do you persecute me as ill? And are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were now written, Oh, that they were printed in a book, that they were graven with an iron pen and laid in a rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And after my skin has been struck off, then in my flesh I shall see Yahuah, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another, though my mind be consumed within me. If you say, why do we persecute him? Seeing the root of the matter has been found in me. Fear the sword yourselves, for wrath is the punishment of the sword, so that you know there is a judgment. Then answered Sophar the Naamatite, and said, Therefore do my thoughts cause me to answer, and for this I make haste. I have heard the check of my reproach, and the spirit of my understanding causes me to answer. Know you not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Although his pride mounts up to the Shamayim, and his head reaches to the clouds, yet he shall perish forever, like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, Where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. His food is turned in his stomach, the bitterness of cobras is in him. He has swallowed down riches, then vomits them up. Ale dries it out of his stomach. He sucks the poison of cobras, the tongue of the poisonous snake slays him. He looks not on streams, the rivers flowing with honey and cream. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he has oppressed and forsaken the poor, because he has violently taken away a house which he built not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, he shall not save of that which he desired. There is no leftover after he has eaten, therefore his good does not last. With all his plenty he is in distress. The hand of every laborer comes against him. When he is about to fill his belly, Elohim shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn, and comes out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword comes out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. And fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. The Shamayim shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion from Elohim for a wicked man, and the heritage appointed unto him by El. But Iyov answered and said, Hear diligently my speech, and let this be your consolations. Suffer me that I may speak, and after that I have spoken, mock on. As for me, is my complaint to man? And if it were so, why should not my ruah be troubled? Mark me, and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth. Even when I remember, I am afraid, and trembling takes hold of my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power? Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of Yahuah upon them. Their bull breeds and does not fail. Their cow calves without miscarriage. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They sing to the tambourine and lyre, and rejoice to the sound of the flute. They spend their days in wealth, and in a moment go down to Sheol. Therefore they say unto El, Depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of your ways. What is El Shaddai, that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him?
Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me.
How oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft comes their destruction upon them?
Elohim distributes sorrows in his anger. They are as stubble before the wind,
and as chaff that the storm carries away.
Eloah lays up his iniquity for his children. He rewards him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of El Shaddai.
For what pleasure has he in his house after him? When the number of his months is cut off in the midst, shall any teach El knowledge? Since he judges those that are exalted, one dies in his perfect strength, completely at ease and satisfied. His pails are filled with milk, and his bones are juicy with marrow. Another one dies in the bitterness of his being, and never eats with pleasure. Together they lie down in the dust, and worms cover them. Look, I know your thoughts, and the plots with which you will wrong me. For you say, where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Have you not asked them that go by the way? And do you not know their tokens? That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he has done? Yet shall he be brought to the grave, and shall remain in the tomb. The clouds of the valley shall be sweet unto him, and every man shall draw after him, as there are innumerable before him. How then you come from me in vain, seeing in your answers there remains falsehood? Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, can a man be profitable unto El, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to El Shaddai that you are righteous, or is it gain to him that you make your ways perfect? Will he reprove you for fear of you? Will he enter with you into judgment? Is not your wickedness great, and your iniquities infinite? For you have taken a pledge from your brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. You have not given water to the weary to drink, and you have withheld bread from the hungry. But as for the mighty man, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it. You have sent widows away empty. The arms of the fatherless have been broken. Therefore snares are round about you, and sudden fear troubles you, or darkness that you cannot see, and abundance of waters cover you. Is not a lower in the height of Shamayim? And see the highest stars, how lofty they are. And you say, how does El know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him, that he sees not, and he walks in the circuit of Shamayim. Have he marked the old way which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with a flood, which said unto El,
depart from us.
And what can El Shaddai do for them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it and are glad, and the innocent laugh them to scorn. Whereas our substance is not cut down, but the remnant of them the fire consumes. Acquaint now yourself with him, and be at peace. Thereby good shall come unto you. Receive, I pray you, the Torah from his mouth, and lay up his words in your heart. If you return to El Shaddai, you shall be built up. You shall put away iniquity far from your tabernacles. Then shall you lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. Yeah, El Shaddai shall be your defense, and you shall have plenty of silver. For then shall you have your delight in El Shaddai, and shall lift up your face unto Eloah. You shall make your prayer unto him, and he shall hear you, and you shall pay your vows. You shall also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you, and the light shall shine upon your ways. When men are cast down, then you shall say, there is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person. He shall deliver the island of the innocent, and it is delivered by the pureness of your hands. Then Iyov answered and said, even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would order my cause before him, and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me, and understand what he would say unto me. Will he plead against me with his great power? No, but he will put strength in me. There the righteous might dispute with him. So should I be delivered forever from my judge. Behold, I go forward. but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. On the left hand, where he works, but I cannot behold him. He hides himself on the right hand, that I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. My foot has held his steps. His way have I guarded, and not declined. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. But he is in one mind, and who can turn him? And what his soul desires, even that he does. For he performs the thing that is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Therefore am I troubled at his presence. When I consider, I am afraid of him. For ill makes my heart soft, and El Shaddai troubles me. Because I was not cut off before the darkness, neither has he covered the darkness from my face. Why, seeing times are not hidden from El Shaddai, do they that know him not see his days? Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks, and feed thereof. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. Behold, as wild donkeys in the desert, go they forth to their work, rising early for a prey. The wilderness yields food for them and for their children. They reap everyone as fodder in the field, and they gather the ventures of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and embrace the rock for want of shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast, and take a pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheep from the hungry, which make oil within their walls, and tread their wine presses, and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded cries out. Yet Eloah lays not folly to them. They are those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer rising with the light kills the poor and needy, and in the night as a thief. The eye also of the man that breaks wedlock waits for the twilight, saying, No eye shall see me, and disguises his face. In the dark they dig through houses, which they have marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light, for the morning is to them even as a shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift as the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholds not the way of the vineyards. Drought and heat consume the snow waters. So does Sheol those which have sinned. The womb shall forget him. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreats the barren that bears not, and does not good to the widow. He draws also the mighty with his power. He rises up, and no man is sure of life. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he rests, yet his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of grain. And if it is not so, who proves me a liar, and makes my word worthless? Then answered Bildad, the Shuhite, and said, Dominion and fear are with him. He makes peace in high places. Is there any number of his armies? And upon whom does not his light arise? How then can man be justified with El? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman? Behold, even to the moon, and it shines not. Yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man that is a worm, and the son of Adam which is a worm? But Iyov answered and said, How have you helped him that is without power? How save you the arm that has no strength? How have you counseled him that has no wisdom? And how have you plentifully declared the thing as it is? To whom have you uttered words, and whose spirit came from you? The Rephaim are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Sheol is naked before him. and Abaddon has no covering. He stretches out the north over the empty place, and hangs the earth upon nothing. He binds up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not rent under them. He holds back the face of his throne, and spreads his cloud upon it. He drew a limit on the surface of the waters, at the boundary of light and darkness. The columns of the Shamayim tremble, and are stunned at his reproof. By his power he has calmed the sea, and by his understanding he struck down Rahab. By his Ruach he adorned the Shamayim, his hand whirled the fleeing serpent. See, these are the fringes of his ways, and how little a matter is heard of him, and who understands the thunder of his power? Moreover, Iyov continued his parable, and said, As El lives, who has taken away my judgment, and El Shaddai, who has vexed my soul, all the while my breath is in me, and the Ruach Eloah is in my nostrils. My lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. Far be it that I should justify you. Till I die, I will not remove my integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast, and will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. Let my enemy be as the wicked, and he that rises up against me as the unrighteous. For it is the hope of the hypocrite, though he has gained, when the Lord takes away his soul. Will El hear his cry when trouble comes upon him? Will he delight himself in El Shaddai? Will he always call upon Eloah? I will teach you by the hand of El, that which is with El Shaddai will I not conceal. Behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then are you thus altogether vain? This is the portion of a wicked man with El, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of El Shaddai. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widow shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He builds his house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper makes. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He opens his eyes, and he is not. Terror shall take hold on him as waters. A tempest steals him away in the night. The east wind carries him away, and he departs, and as a storm hurls him out of his place. For Elohim shall cast upon him, and not spare. He will fain flee out of his hand. Men shall clap their hands at him, and shall hiss him out of his place. Surely there is a vein for the silver, and a place for gold where they find it. Iron is taken out of the earth, and brass is molten out of the stone. He sets an end to darkness, and searches out all perfection, the stones of darkness, and the shadow of death. The flood breaks out from the inhabitants, even the waters forgotten of the foot. They are dried up, they are gone away from men. As for the earth, out of it comes bread, and under it is turned up as it were fire. The stones of it are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. There is a path which no fowl knows, in which the vulture's eye has not seen. The lion's whelp hath not trodden it, nor the fierce lion passed by it. He puts forth his hand upon the rock. He overturns the mountains by the roots. He cuts out rivers among the rocks, and his eye sees every precious thing. He binds the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid brings he forth to light. But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man knows not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. The deaf says, It is not in me, and the sea says, It is not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. It cannot be valued with gold of Ophir, with the precious onyx or the sapphire. The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewels of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or of pearls, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Cush shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. Whence then comes wisdom, and where is the place of understanding? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all living, and kept close from the fowls of the air. Abaddon and death say,
We have heard the fame thereof with our ears.
Elohim understands the way thereof, and he knows the place thereof. For he looks to the ends of the earth, and sees under the whole heaven, to make the weight for the winds, and he weighs the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning of the thunder, then did he see it, and declare it. He prepared it, yeah, and searched it out. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of Adonai, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Moreover, Iyov continued his parable and said, Oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when the Lord did guard me, when his candle shined upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness, as was in the days of my youth, when the secret of the Lord was upon my tabernacle, when El Shaddai was still with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, and the rock poured out rivers of oil for me. When I went out to the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the streets, the young men saw me and hid themselves, and the aged arose and stood up. The princes refrained talking and laid their hand on their mouth. The nobles held their peace, and their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth. But when their ear heard, it baraked me, and when their eye saw, it gave witness to me, because I rescued the poor who cried out, and the fatherless who had no helper. The baraka of the perishing one will come upon me, and I made the widow's heart sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it robed me. Judgment was my cloak and turban. I was eyes to the blind, and I was feet to the lame. I was a father to the poor, and I investigated the case which I did not know. And I broke the jaw of the wicked, and plucked the spoil out of his teeth. Then I said, I shall die in my nest, and I shall multiply my days as the sand. My root reaching out to the waters, and dew lying all night on my branch. My esteem fresh within me, and my bow renewed in my hand. To me they listened, and they waited, and kept silent at my counsel. After my words they did not speak again, and my speech settled on them. And they waited for me like the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the latter rain. I smiled at those who did not believe, and the light of my face they did not dim. I chose the way for them, and sat as chief, and I dwelt like a sovereign in the army, like one who comforts mourners. But now, they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. They plucked salt herbs by the bushes, and broomed tree roots for their food. They were driven out from the midst. They shouted at them as at a thief. They dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now I am their song, yeah, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face. Because he has loosed my cord, and afflicted me, they have also let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth. They push away my feet, and they raise up against me the ways of their destruction. They have broken up my path. They gain by my ruin. No one restrains them. They come as the wide breach, rushing on me under the ruins. Destructions are turned upon me. They pursue my life as the wind, and my welfare has passed like a cloud. And now my life pours itself out. Days of affliction seize me. My bones have been pierced in me at night, and my gnawings never lie down. By great exertion in my garment changed, it girds me as the collar of my coat, throwing me into the mud, and I become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up, and you understand me. You have become cruel to me. With the power of your hand, you oppose me. You lift me up to the wind, making me to ride it, and you melt me in the storm. For I have known that you will bring me to death, into the house appointed for all living. Yet does not one in a heap of ruin stretch out his hand, or in calamity cry out for help? Did I not weep for him who was in trouble? Was my being not grieved for the poor? When I looked for good, then evil came to me, and when I waited for light, darkness came. My inward parts boiled and did not rest. Days of affliction went before me. I went about blackened, but not by the sun. I stood up in the assembly. I cried for help. I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. My harp also is turned to mourning, and my organ into the voice of them that weep. I have made a covenant with my eyes. How then could I gaze at a maiden? For what is the portion of a lower from above, and the inheritance of El Shaddai from on high? Is it not destruction to the wicked, and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? Does not he see my ways, and count all my steps? If I had walked with vanity, or if my foot had hasted to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, that the Lord may know my integrity. If my step has turned out of the way, and my heart walked after my eyes, and if any blot has cleaved to my hands, then let me sow, and let another eat. Yeah, let my offspring be rooted out. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, let my wife grind for another, and let others bow down over her. For this is a heinous crime. Yeah, it is an iniquity to be punished by the judges. For it is a fire that consumes to destruction, and will root out all my increase. If I did despise the cause of my manservant, or of my maidservant, when they contended with me, what then shall I do when El rises up? And when he visits, what shall I answer him? Did not he that made me in the womb make him? And did not one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld the poor from their desire, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, and the fatherless has not eaten thereof. For from my youth he was brought up with me, as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. If I have seen any perish for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not baraked me, and he warmed himself with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless, when I saw I had help in the gates, let my arm fall from my shoulder, and my arm be broken from the bone. For I am in dread of destruction from El, and from his excellence I could not escape. If I had put my trust in gold, or called fine gold my refuge, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gained much, if I have looked at the sun when it shines, or the moon moving in brightness, so that my heart had been secretly enticed, and my mouth hath kissed my hand, that too is a punishable wickedness, for I would have denied El above. If I have rejoiced when he who hated me was ruined, or lifted myself up when evil found him. Also, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for a curse on his life. If the men of my tent did not say, who is there that has not been satisfied with his meat? The stranger did not have to spend the night in the street, for I have opened my doors to the way. If I have covered my transgressions like a dawn, by hiding my wickedness in my bosom, then let me fear the great crowd, and dread the scorn of clans. Then I will be silent and go out of the door. Who will give me a hearing? See, my signature. Let El Shaddai answer me, and let my accuser write an account. Would I not take it up on my shoulder, find it on me for a crown? I would declare to him the number of my steps. I would approach him like a prince. If my land cries out against me, or if furrows weep together, if I have eaten its fruit without payment, or caused its owner to die, let thistles grow instead of wheat, and useless weed instead of barley. The words of Iyov are ended. So these 3 men ceased to answer Iyov, because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the kindred of Ram. Against Iyov was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than Elohim. Also, against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Iyov. Now Elihu had waited till Iyov had spoken, because they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, then his wrath was kindled. And Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said,
I am young, and ye are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and dared not show you my opinion. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a Ruach in man, and the inspiration of El Shaddai gives them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Therefore I said, hearken to me, I also will show my opinion. Behold, I waited for your words. I gave ear to your reasons, while you searched out what to say. Yeah, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Iyov, or that answered his word, lest ye should say, we have found out wisdom. El thrust him down, not man. Now he has not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. They were amazed. They answered no more. They left off speaking. When I had waited,
for they spoke not, but stood still, and answered no more.
I said, I will answer also my part. I also will show my opinion. For I am full of matter. The Ruach within me constrains me. Behold, my belly is as wine which has no vent. It is ready to burst like new wineskins. I will speak that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto men. For I know not to give flattering titles, and so doing my Maker would soon take me away. Wherefore, Iyov, I pray you, hear my speeches, and hearken to all my words. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue has spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Ruach El has made me, and the breath of El Shaddai has given me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Stand up. Behold, I am according to your wish in El's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make you afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon you. Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and have heard the voice of your words, saying, I am clean without transgression. I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Behold, he finds occasions against me. He counts me for his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks. He marks all my paths. Behold, in this you are not just. I will answer you, that Eloah is greater than man. Why do you strive against him? For he gives not account of any of his matters. For El speaks once, yea, twice, yet man perceives it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he opens the ears of men, and seals their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with the pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhors bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yeah, his soul draws near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and says, deliver him from going down to the pit, I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto Eloah, and he will be favorable unto him. And he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looks upon men, and if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Lo, all these things works El oftentimes with men, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Iyov, hearken unto me. Hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, hearken unto me. Hold your peace, and I shall teach you wisdom.
And Elihu responded and said,
Furthermore, Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, O ye wise men, and give ear unto me, ye that have knowledge. For the ear tries words, as the mouth tastes meat. Let us choose to us judgment. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Iyov has said, I am righteous, and El has taken away my judgment. Should I lie against my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Iyov, who drinks up scorning like water, which goes in company with the workers of iniquity, and walks with wicked men? For he has said, It profits a man nothing that he should delight himself with Elohim. Therefore hearken unto me, ye men of understanding. Far be it from El that he should do wickedness, and from El Shaddai that he should commit iniquity. For the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. Yeah, surely El will not do wickedly, neither will El Shaddai pervert judgment. Who has given him a charge over the earth, or who has disposed the whole world? If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his ruach and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again unto dust. If now you have understanding, hear this. Hearken to the voice of my words. Shall even he that hates right govern? And will you condemn him that is most just? Is it fit to say to a king, You are Belial, and to princes, Ye are wicked? How much less to him that accepts not the persons of princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor? For they are all the work of his hands. In a moment shall they die, and the people shall be troubled at midnight, and pass away, and the mighty shall be taken away without hand. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he sees all his goings. There is no darkness, nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into judgment with El. He shall break in pieces mighty men without number, and set others in their stead. Therefore he knows their works, and he overturns them in the night, so that they are destroyed. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others, because they turn back from him, and would not consider any of his ways, so that they cause the cry of the poor to come unto him, and he hears the cry of the afflicted. When he gives quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only, that the hypocrite reign not, lest the people be ensnared. Surely it is meet to be said unto El, I have borne chastisement, I will not offend any more. That which I see not teach me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should it be according to your mind, he will recompense it, whether you refuse or whether you choose, and not I. Therefore speak what you know. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man hearken unto me. Iyov has spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. My desire is that Iyov may be tried unto the end because of his answers for wicked men. For he adds rebellion unto his sin. He claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against El.
And Elihu responded and said,
Do you think this to be right, that you said, My righteousness is more than El's? For you said, What advantage will it be unto you? And what profit shall I have if I be cleansed from my sin? I will answer you, and your companions with you. Look unto the heavens and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than you. If you sin, what do you against him? Or if your transgressions be multiplied, what do you unto him? If you be righteous, what give you him? Or what receives he of your hand? Your wickedness may hurt a man as you are, and your righteousness may profit the son of Adam. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the mighty. But none says, Where is Eloah, my maker, who gives songs in the night, who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the fowls of heaven? There they cry, but none gives answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely El will not hear vanity, neither will El Shaddai regard it. Although you say you shall not see him, yet judgment is before him. Therefore trust in him. But now, because it is not so, he has visited in his anger, yet he knows it not in great extremity. Therefore Iyov opens his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge.
Elihu also proceeded and said,
Suffer me a little, and I will show you that I have yet to speak on Eloah's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar, and will ascribe righteousness to my Maker. For truly my words shall not be false. He that is perfect in knowledge is with you. Behold, El is mighty, and despises not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He preserves not the life of the wicked, but gives right to the poor. He withdraws not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yeah, he establishes them forever, and they are exalted. And if they be bound in fetters and be held in cords of affliction, then he shows them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. He opens also their ear to discipline, and commands that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasures. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when he binds them. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. He delivers the poor in his affliction, and opens their ears in oppression. Even so, would he have removed you out of the straight into a broad place, where there is no straightness, and that what should be set on your table should be full of fatness? But you have fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on you. Because there is wrath, beware lest he take you away with his stroke. Then a great ransom cannot deliver you. Will he esteem your riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength. Desire not the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, regard not iniquity, for this have you chosen rather than affliction. Behold, El exalts by his power. Who teaches like him? Who has enjoined him his way? Or who can say, you have wrought iniquity? Remember that you magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it, man may behold it afar off. Behold, El is great, and we know him not, neither can the number of his years be searched out. For he makes small the drops of water, they pour down rain according to the vapor thereof, which the clouds do drop, and distill upon man abundantly. Also, can any understand the spreadings of the clouds, or the noise of his tabernacle? Behold, he spreads his light upon it, and covers the bottom of the sea. For by them judges he the people. He gives meat in abundance. With clouds he covers the light, and commands it not to shine by the cloud that comes betwixt. The noise thereof shows concerning it, the cattle also concerning the vapor. At this also my heart trembles, and is moved out of his place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice, and the sound that goes out of his mouth. He directs it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. After it a voice roars. He thunders with the voice of his excellency, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. El thunders marvelously with his voice. Great things does he, which we cannot comprehend. For he says to the snow, Be on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. He seals up the hand of every man, that all men may know his worth. Then the beasts go into dens and remain in their places. Out of the south comes the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. By the breath of El frost is given, and the breadth of the waters is straitened. Also by watering he wearies the thick clouds, he scatters his bright clouds. And it is turned round about by his counsels, that they may do whatsoever he commands them upon the face of the world in the earth. He causes it to come, whether for correction, or for his land, or for mercy. Hearken unto this, O Iyov, stand still, and consider the wondrous works of El. Do you know when Eloah disposed them, and caused the light of his cloud to shine? Do you know the balancing of the clouds, the wondrous works of him which is perfect in knowledge? How your garments are warm when he quiets the earth by the south wind? Have you with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as a molten looking glass? Teach us what we shall say unto him, for we cannot order our speech by reason of darkness. Shall it be told him that I speak? If a man speak, surely he shall be swallowed up. And now men see not the bright light which is in the clouds, but the wind passes and cleanses them. Fair weather comes out of the north. With Eloah is terrible majesty. Touching El Shaddai, we cannot find him out. He is excellent in power, and in judgment, and in plenty of justice. He will not afflict. Men do therefore fear him. He respects not any that are wise of heart.
Then Yahuah answered Iyov out of the whirlwind, and said, Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now your loins like a man, for I will demand of you, and answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if you have understanding. Who has laid the measures thereof, if you know, or who has stretched a line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of Elohim shouted for joy? Or enclosed the sea with doors, when it burst forth and came from the womb? When I made the clouds his garment, and thick darkness his swaddling band, and assigned for it my law, and put bars and doors, and said, This far you have come, but no farther, and here you proud waves stop? Have you ever commanded the morning, and caused the dawn to know its place, to take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It is changed like clay under a seal, and they stand out like a garment. And their light is withheld from the wicked, and the arm lifted up is broken. Have you come to the sources of the sea, or have you walked about in the recesses of the deep? Were the gates of death revealed to you, or have you seen the gates of the shadow of death? Have you understood the breadth of the earth? Declare, if you know it all. Where is the way to the dwelling of light? In darkness, where is its place? That you should take it to its boundary and know the paths to its home. Do you know? For you would have been born then, and the number of your days been many. Have you entered into the storehouses of snow, or have you seen the storehouses of hail, which I have kept for the time of distress, for the day of fighting and battle? Where is the way that light is divided, or the east wind scattered over the earth? Who has cleft a channel for the overflowing water, or a way for the thunderclaps? To make rain fall on land where no one is, a wilderness in which there is no man, to satisfy the wild and waste places, and to make the seeds of grass to sprout? Does the rain have a father, or who has brought forth the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice, and who gave birth to the frost of the Shamayim? The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Do you bring out the constellations in its season, or do you lead the bear with its sons? Do you know the laws of the Shamayim, or do you apply their rule over the earth? Do you lift up your voice to the clouds, so that floods of water cover you? Do you send out lightnings, and they go and say to you, here we are? Who has put wisdom in the inward parts, or who has given understanding to the heart? Who has wisdom to count the clouds, or to tip over the pitchers of the Shamayim? When the dust hardens in clumps, and the clouds cling together? Do you hunt the prey for the lion, or satisfy the appetite of the young lions, when they crouch in dens, sit in the cover of their hiding place? Who provides food for the raven, when his young ones cry to El, wander about without food? Do you know the time when the wild mountain goats bear young? Or do you observe when the deer gives birth? Do you number the months they complete? Or do you know the time when they bear young? They bow down, they bring forth their young, their labor pains are ended. Their young ones are thriving, they grow up in the field. They shall leave and shall not return to them. Who let the wild donkey free? Who loosed the bonds of the wild donkey? Whose home I have made the desert, in the salt land his dwelling? He laughs at the commotion of the city. He does not hear the shouts of the driver. The range of the mountains is his pasture, and he searches for all that is green. Would the wild ox be pleased to serve you, or spend the night by your feeding trough? If you bind the wild ox in the furrow with ropes, would he plow the valleys behind you? Would you rely on his great strength, or would you leave your labor to him? Would you trust him to bring home your grain, and gather it to your threshing floor? Gave you the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaves her eggs in the earth, and warms them in dust, and forgets that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. She treats her young harshly, as if not hers. Her toil is in vain, without fear, because the Lord has made her forget wisdom, and did not endow her with understanding. When she lifts herself on high, she laughs at the horse and his rider. Have you given the horse strength? Have you covered his neck with a mane? Would you make him leap like a locust, his splendid snorting and frightening, his paws in the valley, and rejoices in strength? He gallops into the clash of arms. He laughs at fear, and is not frightened. Nor does he turn back from the sword. The quiver rattles against him, the glittering spears and lance. He eats up the ground with fierceness and rage, and he does not stand still when the ram's horn sounds. At the blast of the ram's horn he says, "Aha!" And from afar he smells the battle, the thunder of commanders and shouting. Does the hawk fly by your wisdom, spreading its wings toward the south? Does the eagle mount up at your command, and makes its nest on high? It dwells on the rock, and lodges on the crag of the rock, and the stronghold. From there it searches out the prey. Its eyes see it from afar, and its young ones suck up blood, and where the slain are, there it is. And Yahuah answered Iyov and said,
Shall he that contends with El Shaddai instruct him? He that reproves the Lord, let him answer it.
Then Iyov answered Yahuah and said,
See, I am insignificant. What would I answer you? I lay my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I have no answer, and twice, but I say no more.
Then Yahuah answered Iyov out of the whirlwind and said,
Now gird up your loins like a man. I ask you, and you answer me. Would you also put aside my judgment? Would you pronounce me wicked, and you be declared righteous? Or do you have an arm like El? Or do you thunder with a voice like his? Deck yourself, please, with excellency and grandeur, and put on esteem and splendor. Scatter abroad the rage of your wrath, and look on everyone who is proud, and bring him low. Look on everyone who is proud, humble him, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, bind their faces in secret. Then even I will confess to you that your own right hand saved you. See now, Behemoth, which I made along with you, he eats grass like an ox. Behold, his strength is in his loins, and his power is in his stomach muscles. He bends his tail like a setter. The sinews of his thighs are knit together. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His ribs are like bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of El. He that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. For the mountains yield food for him, and all the beasts of the field play there. He lies under the slender trees, under cover of reed and swamp. The slender trees cover him with their shade. The willows by the stream surround him. See, if a river rages, he is not alarmed. He feels safe, even if the Yarden gushes into his mouth. Before his eyes shall he be caught with snares, or nose pierced. Would you draw out Leviathan with a hook, or snare his tongue with a line which you lower? Would you put a cord through his nose, or pierce his jaw with a hook? Would he keep on pleading with you? Would he speak softly to you? Would he make a covenant with you to be taken as a servant forever? Would you play with him as with a bird, or leash him for your young girls? Would partners bargain over him? Would they divide him among the merchants? Fill his skins with harpoons, or his head with fishing spears? Put your hand on him. Think of the struggle. Do not do it again. See, any expectation of him is disappointing. He is laid low even at the sight of him. No one is so foolhardy to wake him up. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has given to me first, that I should repay him? Under all the Shamayim that is mine, I will not keep silent concerning his limbs, or his mighty power, or his fair frame. Who shall take off the surface of his skin? Who approaches him with a double bridle? Who shall open the doors of his face? With his frightening teeth all around, rows of scales are his pride. Closed up, a binding seal. One to the other they fit closely. Not even a breath enters between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together and are not separated. His sneezes flash forth light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go firebrands. Sparks of fire shoot out. Out of his nostrils comes smoke, like a boiling pot or a kettle. His breath lights coal on fire, and a flame goes out of his mouth. Strength dwells in his neck, and fear leaps before him. The foes of his flesh cling together. They are firm on him, immovable. His heart is as hard as stone, even as hard as the lower millstone. When he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid. Because of his crashings, they are bewildered. No sword that reaches him prevails, spear, dart, or lance. He reckons iron as straw, bronze as rotten wood. The arrow does not make him flee. Sling stones become like stubble to him. Clubs are reckoned as straw. He laughs at the rattle of a lance. His undersides are like sharp potsherds. He sprawls on the mud like a threshing sledge. He makes the deep boil like a pot.
He makes the sea like a pot of ointment. He leaves a shining path behind him. One would think the deep to be gray-haired. No one on earth is like him, one made without fear. He sees all that is haughty. He is king over all the sons of pride. And Iyov answered Yahuah and said, You know that you are able to do all, and that no purpose is withheld from you. Who is this that hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore I declare, but I did not understand, wonders beyond me, which I did not know. Listen, please, and let me speak. I ask you, then would you make it known to me? I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I'll recant and repent in dust and ashes. And it came to be after Yahuah had spoken these words to Iyov, that Yahuah said to Eliphaz the Temanite, My wrath has burned against you and your 2 friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as did my servant Iyov. And now, take 7 bulls and 7 rams, and go to my servant Iyov, and offer a burnt offering for yourselves. And let my servant Iyov pray for you, for I accept him, lest I punish you because you have not spoken of me what is right, as did my servant Iyov. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, Sophar the Nahamatite, went and did as Yahuah commanded them. And Yahuah accepted the face of Iyov. And Yahuah turned the captivity of Iyov when he prayed for his friends. And Yahuah gave Iyov twice as much as he had before. And all his brothers, and all his sisters, and all those who had been his friends before, came to him and ate food with him in his house. And they sympathized with him, and comforted him for all the evil that Yahuah had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and everyone an earring of gold. So Yahuah increased the latter end of Iyov more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, and 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys. And he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Yemimah, and the name of the second Kesiah, and the name of the third Keren Hapuk. And in all the land were found no women so fair as the daughters of Iyov. And their father gave them an inheritance among their brothers. And after this, Iyov lived 140 years, and saw his children and grandchildren for 4 generations. And Iyov died, old and satisfied with days.